Anyway, continuing with technology here. Now, we've discussed this last time or last week actually regarding how Huawei has been pivoting from the smartphone business or developing of smartphone phones and moving into agriculture by pig farming in a sense. I thought it was funny when it was reported, but it's a sound strategy because obviously the limitations of growing the market with uh, them being blacklisted from the United States, so not being able to acquire the technologies that they need to further develop their smartphones. It doesn't end there. So they're not only pivoting to pig farming, or in this case, pivoting to agriculture, they're also pivoting into electric vehicles, which is, I find it surprising, but it makes sense for them given their situation here. So let's take a look here. So as mentioned, Huawei plans to make an electric vehicle, which is a big news on itself, but it could arrive this year. So what happened there? How fast can they, you know, create vehicles here, competing with the likes of Tesla vehicles here? Anyway, so obviously making electric vehicles is a big undertaking. As you can see how Tesla is doing when they started, now they're branching out in other regions to, you know, to offer their electric vehicles to the mass market here, and planning to launch Huawei electric vehicles this year is going to be something to be holden. Now, how are they going to do that? Now, it was mentioned in this article that Huawei Technologies is in talks with partnering with several companies. So one of those is a state-owned company named Chang'an Automobile and other automakers as well. So that could produce their electric vehicles. Now, I think what they're planning to do here is a known car manufacturer will produce electric vehicles, and Huawei would integrate their technology, similar how Apple is planning to create their own Apple car in the future, I think, which is a good way of to see how technologies can be adopted and implemented properly. If you have Apple devices, you can seamlessly transition from your devices at home to your car. And I think that's the same way for Huawei here, especially for the China market. I think that could be a test bed if they are able to succeed, and hopefully eventually the markets would open up again to Huawei. They are able to sell their products again. It would be easier for them later on. But also, it's not only that they're partnering with many car manufacturers, they're also in talks with a Beijing-backed company, BAIC, in terms of manufacturing electric vehicles here. So I think this has been going on since when they were blacklisted by the United States government here. So they haven't, floundered in terms of sales in the smartphone, but they have continued to look at different avenues of where to capitalize or where can they pivot as a company itself, which is commendable in a sense here. Now, will it work out for them in a sense? Time can only tell. And as mentioned before, they were already working on artificial intelligence for pig farmers, so using their core technologies to go into different industries here. And obviously, according to the head of Huawei's consumer business group, Richard Yu, stating that the electric vehicles will target a mass market segment. So meaning you need to be able to create cars in a massive scale that is affordable for the mass, if that's going to be the case here. Now, obviously, you have Tesla competing in the same market, but they're more on the more premium, expensive level. But I think Tesla is trying to create a more affordable one that's more consumer friendly for everyone now. We'll be able to get it here in the Philippines. Maybe not anytime soon, but I'm looking forward, right? Uh, and obviously, finally, regarding the potentiality of the electric vehicle market in China. Obviously, China is one of the biggest markets in the world, despite Huawei's limitations of expanding and growing their smartphone business. They could always go into other industries like what they're doing now. And what's enticing here is they've been investing heavily in this industry, which is backed up by the Chinese government, and they plan to increase their sales in terms of 20% by 2025. Now, obviously, that's also only a small percentage compared to regular fuel combusted vehicle, but it's still a long way. It's better than nothing, right? So, and they expect to generate in the north of almost 2 million units this year, and up from 1.3 million last year of electric vehicle sales. So it looks promising, but it's still pale in comparison to regular combustion engine here. But if they were to offer here, maybe it would work, right? And it would be a test bed. And obviously, for a company like Huawei, it makes sense for them. They cannot stay pat and say, we'll wait it out if the smartphone market would open up eventually again. Would new administration under the Biden administration change their position regarding how it treats Chinese companies like Huawei and so forth? So obviously, in their part, they're pivoting to less chip-intensive industries so they can maintain their operations and profitability. And obviously, other companies in the United States are also doing the same thing. You have Amazon is one, and Alphabet, Google is also developing auto-related technology. That's why you see many of those big tech companies are investing heavily in other regions, not just in the United States, in Europe, and as well as they would like to penetrate China, but that's a difficult task, which is leaves them India as another viable market. So penetrating the market is key here because obviously India is very protective of their local businesses there. So getting a market share there in terms of smartphones, smart car or electric vehicles is another issue altogether.